Great to see you this Monday, November 16th. I'm Lenang with VTV News Live from Hanoi, and here are the stories we'll be following at this hour. The National Assembly heard 4 reports scrutinizing the implementation of policies and kick-started this session's Q&A. Then, in our weekly edition of Vietnam in Close-Up, let's meet with some people with disabilities who succeed with their startup businesses. And later, enjoy some folk arts being performed as the National Great Solidarity Vietnamese Culture Heritage Week kicked off. Now, the National Assembly today heard 4 reports scrutinizing the implementation of policies and on Q&A sessions from the beginning of the 13th National Assembly until 2015. These reports were delivered by the government, the Chief Justice of the Supreme People's Court, the Prosecutor General of the Supreme People's Procuracy, and the head of the National Assembly's Committee for People's Aspiration. This session's Q&A also officially started. National Assembly deputies focused on topics such as anti-corruption issues, labor productivity, and educational reforms. Deputies asked questions that spanned a variety of different areas, a change that means ministers had to field a wider span of issues. Now, experts believe that this Q&A session marked an unprecedented change, as the ministers were required to be present for spontaneous queries, as we just mentioned, instead of picking several ministers and issues to receive pre-submitted questions. Our reporter Diệu Anh spoke with Hà Huy Thông, Vice Chairman of the National Assembly Committee for External Affairs and National Assembly Deputy of Thừa Thiên Huế Province, to find out more.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So could you please tell us about the impacts of these changes and what can we expect from them?
I think first the impact, I think it has to be all the deputies have an opportunity to question any minister or deputy prime minister or prime minister about any issues. So the impact would be very good. I think it would be positive in terms of sharing more information with the people, the voters, constituents. Also, we can get a better picture, the bigger picture of what's going on in the country.
So in your opinion, what has triggered the National Assembly to adopt these changes?
I think the changes are also in process, because over the years, the National Assembly has been trying to improve its efficiency and effectiveness. And this is also the requirement from the laws and also originally from the Constitution. Because in the Constitution it has stipulated that the National Assembly would have question and also they can have oversight and can hold the government accountable for what they are doing. So this is something already stipulated in the law. If any minister, for any reason, could not keep their promise, of course the National Assembly deputies will say, okay, what's going on? What are the reasons? Tell us. We need to know the reasons why, because it may be because you are not doing too well enough, or because the laws that we made are not good enough. So it depends. Or because we also have changes, external reasons that we could not expect. What are the reasons? So we need to know about it so that we can make it ourselves, I mean the National Assembly and the government themselves, better prepare for the next changes.
Thank you so much. And we just talked with Mr. Hà Huy Thông, the National Assembly Deputy for Thừa Thiên Huế Province, about the changes implemented in the Q&A session of the 13th National Assembly. And we will keep you updated about its progress. And now, back to you, Lan Anh.
All right, thank you very much, Diệu Anh. And now we're moving on to other news. President of the Senate of the Czech Republic, Milan Stach, arrived in Hanoi on Sunday, beginning an official visit to Vietnam at the invitation of the National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng. After the welcome ceremony, the two sides held talks on important issues in the 65-year cooperative relationship between the two countries. National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng appreciated the Czech Republic implicit contribution towards the signing of the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, as well as other efforts made to enhance multifaceted cooperation by the two countries. For his part, the Czech Senate president praised the bilateral relations' positive developments in economic, trade, investment, education, and training. The two sides agreed to continue coordinating at multilateral forums such as the Inter-Parliamentary Union, or IPU, the Asia-Europe Parliamentary Partnership, and strengthening exchanges on issues of mutual interest. Now, delegations including Vice Mayor Alan Warren, businessmen, and university members from the Californian city of Sacramento wrapped up their visit to Vietnam on November the 14th. The visit was intended to further collaboration in business, education, and culture. We have more to follow.
After the first visit in February this year, the Sacramento delegation returned to Vietnam last week, hoping to push collaborations in business, education, and culture. Welcoming his guest, Vice Chairman of Ho Chi Minh City's People Committee invited the U.S. delegation to visit several universities and Saigon High-Tech Park to study the possibilities of cooperation and investment between the two cities.
I think one of the next things we want to do is to bring a bigger delegation of American businessmen and women to come back to Vietnam to take a look at opportunities to establish relationships and potentially investment in business.
They then witnessed the signing of a memorandum of understanding on collaboration between Ho Chi Minh City's Department of Home Affairs and UC Davis campus, a branch of the University of California. The UC Davis campus will provide short-term courses for officials in Ho Chi Minh City on various subjects.
We're hoping to continue meeting with other foundations and exploring other financial sources that will allow us to continue these exchanges and programs and maybe put together collaborative research projects and a variety of other opportunities.
Professor Caroline Kieu Linh, a Vietnamese in the U.S., is a lecturer at the UC Davis, University of California. She has been keen to promote ties between the city of Sacramento and Vietnam.
To your mind when you hear Vietnam?
I just feel so lucky that I could be in a position to do this because I've always wanted to have other people understand Vietnam like I understand Vietnam, and which is Vietnam, is not a perfect country, but it's a country that has so much potential, and the people have, so much hope for a brighter future, and I want to help in any way I can to make that happen.
The visit will hopefully pave the way to further trade and educational exchanges and to enhance Vietnam's relationship with the city.
Now, nearly 200 enterprises are showcasing the products and services at the high-quality Vietnamese products fair, which opened in Brussels on November the 12th. Now, over 10,000 top-quality commodities made in Vietnam, including garments, leather shoes, fine arts, souvenirs, agricultural products, furniture, and electrical home appliances are on display. Also on sale are tourism, financial, and healthcare packages. The fair is a part of a series of activities to promote Vietnamese brands and develop a foothold in the Russian market while fostering investment and trade between the countries. In addition to the exhibition, a slew of programs are scheduled to take place during the fair, including a conference to promote trade, investment, and tourism, a meeting to connect businesses and help them share their experiences accessing the Russian market, and an art performance on Vietnamese culture. The fair will run until December the 12th. October 2015 saw Vietnam's highest ever monthly steel production output. According to the Vietnam Steel Association, its members' steel production reached nearly 618,000 tons, 30% higher compared to the same period in 2014. The steel market saw a positive rise in October and early November. Still, Vietnamese enterprises are facing difficulties due to cheap imported steel in the local market and steel dumping issues in major export markets. When free trade agreements take effect, Vietnamese enterprises will have to compete with imported steel. Asia's largest coffee exhibition wraps up on the 15th of November in Seoul, Korea. Considered a platform for coffee producers to network in technology and further cooperation, the Cafe Show 2015 saw the participation of 35 countries, including Vietnam.
2,000 stalls and 360 businesses from 35 countries participated in the exhibition. Vietnamese businesses attended the exhibition to introduce the country's coffee.
I've known for Vietnamese coffee for a while. It is very fragrant and richer than Korean coffee. We really like Vietnamese coffee and hope to continue importing this product.
Processed Vietnamese coffee is not very well known, as Vietnam mainly exports raw coffee. But in the first days of the exhibition, an agreement worth 20 tons of coffee was signed between a Vietnamese and Korean enterprise.
Korean businesses import a lot of Vietnamese coffee beans, but once they are processed and reach the Korean market, consumers do not know that beans originate from Vietnam.
In the future, Vietnamese coffee producers aim to develop more processed coffee products in addition to the already well-known raw coffee beans. According to Vietnam Coffee and Cocoa Association, the export of processed coffee could increase by 25% this year.
Let's now check out the value of Vietnamese dong against some major currencies around the world as of today, November the 16th. Still to come on VTV News, we'll meet with some people with disabilities who succeed with their startup businesses. And later enjoy some folk arts being performed as the National Great Solidarity Vietnamese Culture Heritage Week kicked off. Now, according to a government report from last year, Vietnam has more than 7 million people with disabilities, accounting for 7.8% of the population. Many of them are very active in their communities, starting their own businesses and creating jobs for many others. In this week's edition of Vietnam in Close-Up, let's meet with a successful business club whose members have overcome their disabilities and are writing their own stories.
Huỳnh Huệ Liên is the owner of Dorcas Hand Embroidery Workshop in Ho Chi Minh City. Her legs were paralyzed and atrophied since she was 1. Despite that, at the age of 14, she began learning embroidery, and in 2006, she opened a workshop at home.
At first, people only knew about my workshop as a small business, and so they were still doubtful about the quality. But later, when my workshop began introducing high-quality products, we began gaining customers' confidence.
Here, Liên also teaches people with disabilities embroidery for free until they are qualified, and then offer them jobs. Every year, around 20 people are trained here to become qualified artisans.
I understand how hard it is for many people like me to learn a trade or get a job. So now, as a qualified artisan, I really want to support them so that they can earn a living.
Like Liên, Trương Thanh Quốc from Tiền Giang is a successful businessman despite of his disabled legs. Quốc started off selling wooden photo frames, but when his supplier closed down, he decided to learn to make these souvenirs by himself.
When I first started to make these frames, I got rid of the ugly ones and only sold the pretty ones. Gradually, I got more skillful and have been doing the job ever since.
In 2005, he opened a workshop with only $12.
After 3 years, I got some capital together and upgraded my production facilities so I could produce more and find stable outlets. I also hire people with disability like me.
Now, his workshop of just 60 square meters produces over 1,000 frames and souvenir models every month. Both Liên and Quốc are active members of a business club for people with disabilities, run by the Disability Research and Capacity Development Center. This club, also known as DRD, has provided support and consultation for many businesses in Ho Chi Minh City and Lâm Đồng Province.
The DRD Club holds training courses that provide basic skills for people with disabilities who want to set up a business. We gather businesses with the same initiatives into groups. There they share their ideas and experiences about how to find markets for their products, as well as customer relations.
Every month, the club organizes sessions and invites consultants to answer questions and recommend solutions for issues faced by its members. DRD also organizes exhibitions to showcase their products and promote them.
When I started my business, I didn't know how to calculate prices to earn revenues or build up customers' relationships. Thanks to the club, I learned a lot about customer services and software.
I ran my business in a conventional way before joining this club, but after taking part in the club, I learned a lot from my peers' experience here to improve my business and become more confident and happy.
After 12 years in operation, the club has encouraged people with disabilities like Liên and Quốc to start businesses of their own and help others in the same situation.
Moving on now to other news. Now, the Vietnam National Hospital of Pediatrics has finished training at Hai Phong Children's Hospital on a new heart surgery technique. Now, this good news will mean children in the port city can have treatment for their heart conditions nearer to home. We have more in the following.
This 4-month baby underwent ventricular septal surgery 9 days ago. This is among the 108 child patients which have received heart surgery at Hai Phong Children's Hospital since the hospital adopted open heart surgery techniques.
Knowing that Hai Phong Children's Hospital is capable of carrying out open heart surgery, I agreed to the operation taking place here. We saved a lot of time and money, and my baby looks a lot better.
After training sessions by experts from the Vietnam National Hospital of Pediatrics, Hai Phong Children's Hospital staff carry out the operations themselves. Over the past year, children with heart disease have been treated at the local hospital.
The staff are obviously completely professional, from examination through to anesthetics and to performing surgery.
The cardiovascular department is one of 4 units receiving additional training as part of a Ministry of Health initiative to take the pressure off central hospitals.
All the equipment for open heart surgery has been handed to 2 hospitals, and now the staff have been trained to use it. The treatment is exactly the same as provided in national hospitals.
Hai Phong Children's Hospital also carry out regular checks for heart disease for children at communal medical stations.
Now, a bike ride entitled Cycle a Difference started on November the 15th in the northern province of Lào Cai and attracted 25 international cyclists. The 10-day ride from Lào Cai to the central city of Da Nang is meant to raise money for newborns Vietnam to reduce newborn deaths. Now, each cyclist will conquer a journey 2 times the height of Mount Everest. In total, the team will ride over 48,000 kilometers. Several famous international cyclists are participating in the journey, like David Lloyd, Vietnam Mountain Marathon champion, Juliana Buring, fastest women to circumnavigate the globe by bike, and Mike Hall, 2-time winner of the longest mountain bike race in the world. In the past 3 years, Cycle a Difference raised over $600,000 for newborns Vietnam, with a total cycling journey of over 115,000 kilometers. The National Tourism Year for 2016 will focus on Phu Quoc and the Mekong Delta, according to an announcement by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism and Kiên Giang People's Committee this morning. Now, several national and international tourism activities will be held in Kiên Giang and other Mekong Delta provinces. The event is expected to contribute to promoting cultural heritage and focus on the unique tourism products offered by Kiên Giang province and other localities to attract more domestic and international tourists. Hundreds of representatives from 54 ethnic groups throughout the country took part in the opening ceremony of the National Great Solidarity Vietnamese Cultural Heritage Week on Sunday in Hanoi. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism, the week is to celebrate Vietnam's Cultural Heritage Day on November the 23rd. It also seeks to strengthen the unity between all 54 Vietnamese ethnic groups and honor their diverse cultures. Addressing the ceremony, Chairman of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee Nguyễn Thị Nhân noted that national solidarity was an important tradition and has been continuously strengthened and developed to become a valuable cultural heritage of the entire Vietnamese people. The opening ceremony was followed by a performance that features folk tunes and dances staged by ethnic performers. A series of exhibitions displaying photos, documents, and objects spotlighting the national Great Solidarity will also on display. Now, in other news, Vietnam's first ever farming utensils exhibition house has been opened in Thuy Thanh Commune in the central province of Thừa Thiên Huế. As part of a provincial tourism initiative, this exhibition house aims to showcase the history, traditions, and culture of a local agriculture to tourists. Let's visit the house in the following report.
Lying next to Thanh Toan Bridge, one of the 3 remaining tile roof bridges in Vietnam, Thanh Toan Farming Utensils Exhibition House has long been known as a great tourist attraction site. Visitors get to learn more about the daily life of an untouched Vietnamese village, from its history to farming and fishing activities.
People are very friendly, very kind and welcoming. So I've enjoyed both the people and the food. Food is excellent. Where I come from in San Francisco, there are many people from Vietnam.
With the support and investment of the International Labour Organization and UNESCO, Thanh Toan Exhibition House has been renovated and improved in terms of interior designs and displays. More than 200 items and nearly 100 photos are on show. Each of them goes toward telling the stories about the daily activities and culture of an ancient village in the province.
We have encouraged and assisted residents of Thanh Toan village to take part in the idea development process for the exhibition house. This is an important activity since it not only engages community in the construction process but also raises their awareness about local heritage.
Thanh Toan Farming Utensils House not only serve as an exhibition but also highlights the locals' role in preserving their culture and promoting tourism in Thừa Thiên Huế province.
We have assigned the locals to establish Thanh Toan Tourism Service Cooperative to preserve such artifacts. Some of them also work in the museum, since they can give more vivid presentations to visitors thanks to their real-life experience.
The local tourism sector is paying attention to matters related to organization and business activities to effectively manage this form of community-based tourism. The farming utensils exhibition hall is the highlight of the Thanh Toan Tile Roof Bridge tour and tourism in the adjacent areas.
And the latest weather forecast comes next. This is it for now on VTV News, and you can find more of our coverage of the issues you care most about at vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4girl. Thanks for watching. I see you back at 6 p.m. local time.